structure of kidney. Kidney, it is a which shaped structure? Bean shaped structure. Okay, na? Bean shaped structure. It is which color? Reddish color. Okay, na? So reddish color. Kidney structure. It is present where? It is present into the abdominal region. Okay, na? So last thoracic vertebrae to third lumbar vertebrae, the kidneys are present here. The right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney due to presence of liver in human being. Okay, so approximately 120 to 170 grams weight is there to the kidneys. Okay, so this is the structure of kidney. Outer surface area is the convex structure. Okay, so inner surface area, it contains what here? Deep notch is called as a hilum. So this is what here? Deep notch, it is called as a hilum. Okay, and surrounding region here, it contains inner side of the tissue. So that is called what here? Two parts we are dividing. Number one is the cortex region. Number two is the medullary region. So if you see the medullary region, this is the what here? Inner side, the medullary pyramids are forming. So in this medullary pyramids, in between what here? The columns of Bertini is present here, where it is connecting to the cortex region. In between the what here? Projections are forming here. So the projections is called as a what here? Columns of Bertini. Okay, Bertini stambalu ani antuntam. Okay, and next తీసుకున్నట్లయితే, so this is called what here? Renal columns. In between the space is there, so that is the renal columns, and it is the medullary pyramids. These all are the medullary pyramids. And next one here, if you see the renal pyramid, this is the renal pyramid. Each and every renal pyramid, here it contains a nephrons. Okay, so nephrons are present here. So this is called as a nephrons. And next one here, it is also one of the renal pyramid. Okay, here also nephrons are there. So how many nephrons are there? 1 million of the nephrons are there in human being kidneys. Okay, so 1 million of the nephrons are present here in between here into the into the renal pyramids. Okay, and renal arteries and renal veins are there. Renal arteries are supplying oxygenated blood, veins are supplying into the deoxygenated blood. And here from hilum to the next part, that is extending part, is called as a cup-like structure, that is called as a pelvis. So that is called as a renal pelvis part. So this is the renal pelvis part. Okay, and extending region, and it is connecting to the tube-like structure. So that is called as a ureter. Okay, so through the ureter, now it is reaching into the where it is reaching into the urinary bladder. Through the urinary bladder, the urine is passing into the outside. Okay, so this is the what here? Structure of the kidney. If you see here the structure of the kidneys to here, so this is the kidney. Okay, right and left kidneys are there. Above the kidney region, what is that? Adrenal gland is there. Adrenal gland is releasing hormones, so that is called as adrenaline, noradrenaline. So these are the flight or fight hormones. So that is the what here? Adrenaline and noradrenaline. So this is what here? Kidney. Here it contains renal veins. These are called renal veins, and it is the kidney, and renal arteries are there. Okay, and next one inferior vena cava. Okay, and it is called what here? Pelvis medulla. Okay, it is called as a pelvis. Renal pyramids are present in between here. The columns of Bertini. The projections are forming here. Conical shaped structure or cup-like structures or conical shaped structure, cone-like structures are forming. So that is the columns of Bertini, and it is called medulla. Okay, and it is called as a cortex. Okay, so this is the structure of the kidneys. Next, this is the what here? Dorsal aorta, and it is called as a ureter. Okay, so it is what here? Arteries, renal arteries. okay, and veins also, renal veins like arteries and veins are present here. So it is called renal arteries and renal veins, right? So this is the structure of the kidney. Now here from columns of Bertini in complete structure, that is the what here pelvis through the ureter, okay, through the ureter. Now it is called as a renal bladder. If you see here the ureter, it is a whitish tube-like structure, okay. So tube-like structures are formed. It is made up of transitional epithelial cells. Now the urine is passing here into the ureter, okay. Through the ureter, now it is reaching into the urinary bladder. So it is a bag-like structure, okay. The urinary bladder is there. So urinary bladder, it is also made up of what here transitional epithelial cells, okay. Here sphincter muscles are there, okay. So that is called as urethral sphincter muscles. External urethral, internal urethral sphincters or muscles are there. Now contraction of the external and internal, what here the sphincter muscles, the urine is passing here from where urinary bladder to the outside, okay. So this is what here kidney structures, okay. And next one is the what here nephron. If you see here the kidney, this is the kidney. Here I am taking one of the what here renal pyramid. So this is the renal pyramid. So these all are called what here nephrons are formed here into the renal pyramid. So 1 million of the nephrons are there. So nephron is the structural functional unit of the kidney, okay. So nephron it contains the two parts. Number one part is called as a renal cortex. Sorry, number one is the anterior region. So that is called as a capsule. Glomerulus part, okay. So this is the glomerular part, okay. And next one is the renal tubular part, okay. Renal tubular part, okay. So that is the Malpighian corpuscles. First part it is called as a, and second one is the renal tubular part is formed here. So Malpighian corpuscles are formed here. So this is the structure of the nephron. Each and every kidney contains 1 million of the nephron, okay. Through the nephrons, the what here filtering here what H2O molecules. Now see here this is the afferent renal arteriole. Now it is called what here? This is called as a glomerulus. This is the efferent renal arteriole. Okay. Now double layer structure is formed here. So double layer structure. This is called as a BOWMANS capsule. Okay. So this is the what here? BOWMANS capsule is formed. Here is the BOWMANS capsule. Okay. Now this is the BOWMANS capsule. From afferent renal arteriole, here the what here blood is passing here into the afferent renal arteriole. Okay, listen carefully here. Now here this is called as a what here glomerulus. Okay, bunch grapes like structures are formed here. So that is what here glomerulus. So this is the glomerulus. It is the glomerulus. It is the what is that afferent renal arteriole. It is a cup-like structure. Cup-like structure. What is this? BOWMANS capsule. Okay. Now the blood is passing here into the afferent renal arteriole. Now here it contains what here? BOWMANS capsule. What is this? BOWMANS capsule. Okay. Now this is called as a BOWMANS capsule. Now here it contains the layers. Okay. So in the layers it contains what here? Cells. Okay. So first cells, that is called as a podocyte cells are formed here. Which cells it is? Podocyte cells are formed here. Okay, which wrap around the tissue of the what here BOWMANS capsule or the cup-like structure. Okay, so that is called as a podocyte cells. And next, what here pores-like structures are formed here. Okay, so pores-like structures that is called as a slits. So that is called as a filtration slits. Okay, and last region the cells are formed here. Okay, so that is called as a fenestration. Okay, so likewise podocyte cells are formed here into the BOWMANS capsule, and filtration slits also formed here into the BOWMANS capsule, and fenestration. Okay, so here 3 layers of the tissue or the 3 cells, with the help of 3 cells, the what a residual molecules are filtering here into the where into the Bowman's capsule. Okay, so likewise H2 molecules are filtering here. Here Bowman's, it is what here? It is the glomerulus. What is this? Glomerulus. So this is the glomerulus and this is the Bowman's capsule. What is this? Bowman's capsule. Okay, Bowman's capsule. Glomerulus and Bowman's capsule together called as a Malpighian tubule. Malpighian tubule. Okay, what is that? Glomerulus and Bowman's capsule together called as a Malpighian tubule. Okay, so many times asked for the question in NEET point of view and MSET point of view. Okay, so this is the glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. And it is the neck-like structure. It is the next extending part. Neck is called as a what here? This is called as a PCT. PCT means what? Proximal convoluted tubule. What is that? Proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, proximal convoluted tubule is found here. And next one. So this is the what is structure of the nephron. Okay. Now this is called as a descending limb. Descending limb. Okay. Descending limb, okay, and U-shaped structure here, likewise it is found here. So this is the ascending limb, okay, descending limb and ascending limb is found here. So this is called what here? It is called as a Henle loop. So it is also known as a loop of the Henle. What is that? Loop of the Henle. Okay, so loop of the Henle is found here now. Now, from loop of the Henle, the what here next region, next part that is called here the DCT part. Okay, so this is called as a DCT. DCT means what here? Distal convoluted tubule. So this is the part that is the DCT, distal convoluted tubule. Here it is forming distal convoluted tubule. Okay, and from distal convoluted tubule, now what here? CD. CD means collecting duct is formed here. Okay, collecting duct. Okay, and collecting duct to next part, next region. So that is the Bellini duct is formed here. So Bellini tube. Okay, is forming. From Bellini tube, now it is reaching here into the where? Now it is reaching into the where it is now reaching? Bellini tube to urinary bladder. Through the urinary bladder, now it is releasing into the outside of the urine. So this is what here one of the structure of the nephron here. Okay, and the next part, this is the what here efferent renal arteriole. Okay, efferent renal arteriole is a peritubular network like structure is formed here. Peritubular network like structure is formed here. From efferent renal arteriole to the next what here blood is coming here from here to here likewise. So likewise the blood is coming here. See here one of the urine is passing here likewise one way, and blood is passing here into the opposite way. So both are the anti-parallel here. Okay. So this mechanism here it is called as a counter current mechanism. Which mechanism? Counter current mechanism. Okay. One way the urine is passing and blood is passing another way. So both are the anti-parallel. So that's why this is called as a counter current mechanism. Okay. So here cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons are forming here. Cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons. What is the cortical nephrons? Okay, cortical nephrons means what? See, cortical nephrons. Cortical nephrons means PCT and DCT. Proximal convoluted tubule to the distal convoluted tubule is there. Now, here cortex part and medullary part is there, and inner medullary part also there. Okay. Here, this is called what here? Loop of the Henle. Loop of the Henle. So this is the loop of the Henle. Okay, loop of the Henle is too short and very little into the medulla region, is called as a cortical nephrons. Is it right? Now see here, loop of the Henle is too short and very little into the medullary region is called as a cortical nephrons. Which nephrons? Cortical nephrons. And another important that is called as a juxtamedullary nephrons. Juxtamedullary nephrons. Juxtamedullary nephrons. Okay, what is the juxtamedullary nephrons? See here, the loop of the Henle is too long and they are notched into the deepest part of the medullary region is called as a juxtamedullary nephrons. So two parts are very important here, cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons. Loop of the Henle is too short and very little into the medullary region is called as a cortical nephrons. And loop of the Henle is too long and deep notched tissue of that medullary region and deepest region it is reaching here. So that is long region, that is called as a juxtamedullary nephrons. Okay, cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons are very important. Where it is important, it is very important into the NEET point of view. So many times asked for the question, MSET and NEET, what is cortical nephrons and what is juxtamedullary nephrons? Okay, so likewise, what is cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons are present here. Now, see here, this is called what here, blood coming here through the efferent renal arteriole E. Okay, efferent renal arteriole from here to here, from here to here. This region, this is called as a vasa recta. Vasa recta. Vasa recta. And what is this? This is called as a loop of the Henle. Loop of the Henle. It is called as loop of the Henle. It is called as a vasa recta. Okay. Loop of the Henle and vasa recta, both are there now. Now, vasa recta is the U-shaped structure and blood is coming here from through the vasa recta, okay, into the various renal arteries and renal veins or different parts. Okay, so likewise the blood is supplying here into the efferent renal arteriole through the where BOWMANS capsule and next region it is reaching into the efferent renal arteriole. If it is cup-like structure, it is called as a PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and loop of the Henle, okay, and DCT through the collecting duct. Now it is what here reaching into the urinary bladder. So this is the what here structure of the nephron. So likewise, the urine is forming, okay, into the urinary bladder, right? And next one, see here the structure only. What here the structure? See the parts here. This is what here afferent renal arteriole. Afferent renal arteriole. Okay, it is a glomerulus. Glomerulus. And cup-like structure. This is called as a BOWMANS capsule. BOWMANS capsule. And next one, this is called as a PCT. Neck-like structure or neck region is called as a PCT. Means proximal convoluted tubule. What is that? Proximal convoluted tubule. Okay. So proximal convoluted tubule. This is the proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, from here to here, likewise, what here? The extra molecules are coming here. Now, this is what here? Pressure is increasing from up to down region. So hypertonic solutions like. From here to here, what here? Descending limb. This is the descending loop of the where? Descending limb. Okay. Descending and limb of the loop of the Henle it is, and now what here it is called as a loop of the Henle. What is that? Loop of the Henle. It is called as a loop of the Henle. Loop of Henle. Okay. And next one it is the ascending limb. Loop of the Henle. Ascending part. From ascending part to the now it is going where? Which part? Distal convoluted tubule. Which part? Distal convoluted tubule. Okay, from distal convoluted tubule to the now next part is called as a collecting duct. Through the collecting duct now it is reaching into the Bellini duct. Okay, Bellini region, it contains belly duct and now it is reaching into the urinary bladder. Okay, so likewise, what here? H2 molecules are filtering here. Now it is forming concentrate urine into the urinary bladder. Okay, and it is what here? Glomerulus and efferent arteriole to the efferent renal arteriole. Okay, now efferent renal arteriole to the now likewise adjacent tissue, it contains what here? Walls. So that is blood is supplying here from where? Ureter. Sorry, what is that? Vasa recta. So this is U-shaped structure is found here. So this is the what here? Vasa recta. Okay, vasa recta. Through the vasa recta, now what here? Peritubular capillaries are forming. Like what here? These all are what here? Capillaries are forming. Through the capillaries, now what here? Notice another parts. The blood is supplying here. Okay, so this is the structure of nephron. Okay, students, thank you.